this opera was written to be premiered in Rome. And by the way, La Gazzetta had been premiered in Naples 4 months earlier, so he probably figured that no one in Rome had heard the performance in Naples. And back then there weren't recordings and there wasn't the internet, so if it's in a different city, nobody would know the difference. But anyway, he wrote this for Rome, and apparently his first idea was vetoed by the papal censor. So he got together, I wish I was a fly on the wall in this meeting. There was Rossini, the composer, there was his librettist, there was the impresario who was putting on the opera, and the papal censor. And the four of them got together a few days before Christmas and said, what are we gonna do? We gotta brainstorm a new idea, let's come up with something. And the story goes that they went through idea after idea after idea, Rossini shot them all down, and then finally, in exasperation, the librettist said, well, what about Cinderella? Because there were two operas on that same story that had been written within the previous year or two, which they would have known about. And Rossini, all of a sudden, he was laying in bed and he perks up and he goes, I like it. Would you have the courage to actually write a libretto for that? He said, do you have the courage to write the music for it? Yes. So they made a deal, and the librettist got to work, and the two of them put this together very, very quickly. One of the things he also did is he took out all of the magical fantasy elements of the story. So for example, the version of Cinderella we all know the best is the Disney animated classic. And in that one you have a glass slipper, you have a fairy godmother, you have magic, you have all kinds of stuff like that, the pumpkin carriage. He took out all of the magical and the supernatural elements and made it a very realistic story. And one of the theories about why he did that is because it was in Rome and he was concerned about the censor. But another is that there's a theory that perhaps Rossini saw himself in the Cinderella character, because he had a very rags to riches story as well, coming from poverty and working his way up through being a piano player in the opera halls and eventually getting his big chance and writing opera and becoming a famous composer. So there may be a little bit of a connection personally for him to the story that drew him to pick that topic out of the dozens that they probably bantered around that day before they settled on it.